Might as well start my video just like that. I grew up in this neighborhood. This is a, at this hour, this block is deserted. This has been frequent people passing by. Anyway, what up, guys? I've been able to make videos lately because I've been working overtime, right? And since I do that, I'm allowed to stay at my job if you work overtime. So I just got off work and I'm sleeping here tonight, so I have a little time to just kind of fuck around and make a video. Do the gang stalkers ever do anything positive? Yes, your surveillance team does do things to help you out, and I know a lot of guys are not gonna want to hear this, and I know what people are gonna be thinking. But yeah, throughout the years, even when I was not a hard target, when I was just a regular target, a lot of strange things happen. You know, and now that I know what gang stalking is and what being a target individual is, now I see all the things that happen to me. And not only that, but they confirm it by doing it to me again while I'm a hard target. Let me give you an example. So there'll be times in life where you're going to be sad and down or whatever, right? And I remember being at my job, right? And I saw a disabled girl getting wheeled up the block frequently. And this is when I broke up with a girl in a sedan, and I was down and out and drinking and just kind of, you know, just not in a good state of mind. And they actually used to wheel her up the block so I could be like, look, my life is not that hard. And it wasn't just about my girl too. Like, I have anxiety and depression. Apparently, that's what, you know, for a while. And as long as I don't even know how to start it or why it is or whatever. So every time I felt like shit, I would see this girl being wheeled up my block. This is actually them saying, look, your life is not that bad. People have it worse, which is true. How do I know that was them? Because they did it again. I haven't seen her in years, right? Because I got over the funk and whatever it was. And now when I was a hard target and I couldn't deal with this shit anymore, and I didn't know if I wanted to put up with this anymore, I started seeing her again, wheeled up my block, again, in a wheelchair. You know, and when I see her, I get so sad. I feel so bad for this girl, you know? But that's them. And trying to tell me, like, yo, you don't have it that hard. People have it harder. Here's another thing that they do. At my job, look who it is. You see the boys? There they go. At my job, right? There was a lot of times where I'd fall asleep at the door, right? Like, I'm a doorman. For now, I'm not going to do that anymore. But, you know, so you stand at the door. I would like fall asleep on the chair. Every time I fell asleep on the chair, some random person not from my building would knock on my door and ask a stupid question, you know, just to wake me up. And every time that happens, like, holy shit, thank you, God, it wasn't a resident. Thank you, God, it was a resident. Now I know what that was. How do I know that? Because they did it again while I'm a hard target. But this time they punished me for it. How? I fell asleep again on a chair, right? Because I work late and whatever. I don't do that anymore, like whatever. So, and then another lady comes, knocks on my door, right? And like, is whatever live here? I'm like, no, it doesn't. And she walks off. And then a guy behind her walking down a block across the street coughs mad loud. As in, like, stay the fuck awake. Stop doing this. I know that was them. Now I know that was them. Every time they did that and I got woke, I was like, oh my God, yo, I thank you, God, it wasn't a resident. It was never a resident. It was always a gang stalker. You know, what I could name a bunch of things. Here's another thing. Something happened, right? There was beef. See, of course. There was beef and I wanted to, like, you know, something happened to someone close to me and I needed to retaliate. And I'm talking about it on my phone in the lobby, right? And then out of nowhere, my boss comes up. It's like, you need to be more busy. Like, you need to work more, this and that, blah, blah. For all this time, I always thought, how does my boss know everything? Like, does he hear my conversations in the lobby? This and that? No, that was the gang stalkers informing him. Like, yo, because they're listening to everything you do and everything you say. They're watching and listening. And they told him, it's like, yo, you know, they didn't want me to do that. There are many times that gang stalkers do things to kind of help, I guess, in a way, yeah, help you out, sort of. Because, you know, you guys look at it as satanic ritual abuse. You see, I don't look at it. I look at it as a 3-part form of surveillance and investigation by the feds. But the cops could do this as well. So, yeah, when you're a person of concern, that's the type of things they do. It doesn't mean you're a pedophile. You know, if you're in this program, I'm not saying that they don't say that or not, but, you know, people tend to think the worst. And every target individual talks about this, and that's part of perception management. They want you to feel like shit 24/7 because they're investigating your threat potential. Anyway, there's many things that gang stalkers did positive, and I don't even know how to interpret that. Here's another reason. I lost the closest person in my life, which brings me to another thing. The worst thing that will ever happen to you is losing the ones you love. Not this gang stalking. When that happens, you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so I lost my brother, right? He was my hero. You know what I mean? So I carry a chain with a picture of him. And I was in my lobby holding my chain, thinking about him, and I started crying. I cry over my brother often, and I'm not ashamed of that because I love him. So whatever. So, and I was crying in my lobby, and then some random lady walked by. They said his name and said he had a really good personality. They literally tried to comfort me right there and then. That's not to say that they're not pieces of shit and they did not mock my brother and his death, and like, not his death, but like, they mock him to trigger me. You fucking scumbags, you know? So for every good thing they done, I can name 20 bad things they done, you know? But I'm basically saying this to like kind of, I don't know, like, I need to figure this out, but that's that person of concern shit that I keep talking about, you know? So yeah, you know, as fucked up as they are, they do positive things. And if you ask me, this gang stalking program, being a person of concern, when you're a soft target, you actually have these gang stalkers walking around you most of the time and you don't even know it. What they do is try to persuade you or dissuade you from doing things. And every now and then they're going to test you for violence, and if they feel you're going to come close to violence, boom, they pull the plug and you're a hard target. And all this crazy shit happens. Which brings me to another thing about the confusion stage. The number one thing I wish for my videos to do is reach new targets in the confusion stage. So this can help them not freak out and flip the fuck out. Yeah, the confusion stage doesn't last forever. They beat you down and break you in the beginning so they could link emotions to stimuli. This is when they work on your classical conditioning. They scared the dog shit taste fire out your fucking mouth. They deprive you of sleep, and they withdraw peak emotional states out of you to link that to common everyday stimuli for the purpose of managing your aggression to investigate you. All right? As crazy as that sounds, like, this is true. Here we go. I grew up in this neighborhood, yo. I know the block. But that's how it goes. You see? I grew up here. I know this area. Look at that. What a... Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I got some time on my hands, and I wanted to make some content to help other people. Which brings me again to another thing. TIs need to stop being selfish. You know, TIs No one wants to do footwork. No one wants to protest. No one really wants to spread awareness. Spreading awareness on YouTube is not going to help. You know, I do this for the kid in me that got done to this. I do this for when I was a kid and they do this to me. That's why I try to spread awareness, because that was fucked up. I also do this because if I have kids, I don't want this to happen to them. Every TI should do that. Every TI should do it. And when I say do this, I mean more than this, more than making videos on fucking YouTube. Do more. You know, you need to spread awareness. You need to let society know about this, because people don't know about this. Take me, for example. I've been a TI for maybe 20 years, you know, that I know of at least 20 years, right? And when I was a hard target back then, I couldn't articulate what was happening to me. Cops never showed their face. So I only found out that I was a hard target when they targeted me for the second time. That means I was a targeted individual for 20 years and didn't even know what gang stalking or targeted individuals are. You know? All right, man, I don't want to be too long in this. All right, later, guys.